12345 6. You may think this is a password, but I got to tell you, it's not. It's not a good one anyway, and it is easily hacked. So today, David Kirkman with AARP Fraud Prevention and Bree Fowler with Consumer Reports join us today on Who Wants to Know to answer your questions about online safety. They are taking your questions as well. To get your questions answered, this is how you get your question to the expert. You text us that question, 336-379-5775. Now, I don't know if everybody knows it because, there's 1,000,001 national holidays, but today is National Password Day. So that is why we started with 12345 6, and we're going to start with passwords first and foremost. So David, let's talk about this. What keeps us from getting hacked when it comes to passwords?
Well, you don't want to make it easy for the scammers. You want to have a complicated password, not something like 12345 or the names of your kids, or maybe combined with their birthdays or the name of your favorite dog. Those sorts of things are so easy for the criminals to actually key in on and attempt to get your password. And they eventually will. It doesn't take them very long.
I know. I think people think, oh, they're never going to know what the name of my dog is. That scammer's from somewhere else. Oh, but they find out in things that you post. So, Bree, let's talk about how to make that strong password. What constitutes a really good, strong password?
Well, the best thing to do is to have a long and complicated and random password. We're talking 12 characters minimum. Numbers, letters, anything you can think of. And the easiest way to remember a long password is to use a passphrase rather than a password. Words together, it could be a song title, a book, something like that you're going to remember, but is lots and lots of characters.
All right, and maybe something that you say to yourself, and I like the whole thing of, the fox jumped over the moon or something like that. Now, don't use that because that's the one she uses as an example, but you use something that is like that. Okay, so Dave, let's talk about how people get your password. What do they do with it? Why do they do that?
Well, as we were discussing earlier, sometimes these easy passwords are just easy to guess, and that's how one of the main ways people will do it. There are other ways that you can run into trouble, like using a public Wi-Fi system in an airport or at a coffee shop to do sensitive transactions with your bank, or say you're buying something on Amazon. And with these public Wi-Fi systems, people can watch you from 20 feet away online and see what your passwords are and what your account numbers are, and actually start getting into your banking account or your IRA account, no matter what it is, because you've actually given them that by doing these transactions on a public Wi-Fi. There's also problems where people will click on certain links that they think are from, say, Amazon or the US Postal Service, where they talk about a delivery problem. And by clicking that link, they're actually giving scammers access to their own computer. And through that, they can also discover your passwords and your challenge questions to things.
Right.
So there are all sorts of ways that you can do that. So you have to take various steps to avoid being tricked.
Yeah, so using public Wi-Fi and looking at your bank account, probably not a smart thing.
Never is.
And people say, but I'm stuck in the airport. What should I do?
Well, one of the best things to do is, if you've got your cell phone, use your cell phone signal to go check your websites for your bank or for Amazon. Never use the public Wi-Fi. If you're using your cell phone signal, it's very secure. They can't see that from where they're sitting across the coffee shop from you.
So use the cellular data, turn off your Wi-Fi if you're going to be somewhere public like that, so people aren't doing that. All right, so Bree, let's talk about how, especially in the pandemic, that hackers have been targeting people who are working from home.
Yeah, I mean, hackers, especially ones with a great skill set, are looking for more than just your social security number or your credit card number. They're after your company's information. That could be, all of the W-2s and socials that your HR department stores, or, your trade secrets that you want to keep secret. It's more important for them to get at that, but that doesn't mean that your personal information isn't going to get swept up in that. You need to make sure that you're not using your work device, as tempting as it is, because we're all constantly working and on our work devices. You really shouldn't be using that for your personal use, whether it's, just trolling websites or filing your income taxes.
Gotcha. Okay. And so people would say, well, I mean, I do have access to the W-2s from work, but like I'm going to know that they're the scammer who's trying to get it. But really what they do is they send an email, right, that looks like it's coming from someone within their company saying, hey, I need X, Y, or Z, and you're just trying to comply. And that's how they get you.
Right. I mean, security experts refer to this as whaling, where they will look at LinkedIn and figure out who the CEO is or who the head of payroll is and send them what looks like an invoice or, a request for information that looks like it's coming from someone that they legitimately should be talking to. And, companies, we've been in a pandemic and working from home for over a year now, and they've put in safeguards to prevent this. But, the best thing you can do is if something looks sketchy, and you're worried it might not be legitimate, pick up the phone and call that person.
Right, yes. Make sure you make that one-on-one contact. All right, we're going to continue to answer your questions. We'll be right back to the next segment.